It's been years since we've had a cage match like this. 3 wearables enter. Who will survive? Stay tuned. Welcome all back to another Tech Connect. We've got a doozy today, Luke.
You know where doozy comes from?
Actually, I have no idea.
Well, it comes from the Duesenberg car. It's an amazing vehicle if you ever...
German.
It sounds like it could be, but I feel like they were American. But if you get a chance to check them out, they have excellent pipe work. So,
welcome to This Week in Vehicles, hosted by Luke and Corey. Now, we've got a doozy of a video today. We are going to be looking at 3 wearables, and this is actually going to be a 2-part video. We will be comparing the Maggie iVR, the ESight Go, and the Eyedaptic EYE5. We've got a number of categories that we will be using to compare these 3 wearable devices. We are not going to be picking a winner. We just want to present you the information so you can choose which device you think is best for you. So we have standalone videos on all 3 of these devices where we did dig a little deeper into them. So please make sure you go and check those out. We'll put them down in the candy box?
Sure.
I'm not sure what a candy box is, but we're gonna put it in one of those.
It's in a candy box where you put candy in?
Yeah,
it's a box that you put candy in.
Movie theater candy box down below. You'll see links to all of those videos. So we are going to get started with our first category,
which is appearance and comfort, just to let people know.
Well, I was leaving it blank just in case we didn't end up going in that order.
Oh, we will.
That's what I was saying. We'll just.
Can we include this in the video?
Stay tuned.
Round 1, fight!
As we clearly stated at the end of the last section, we will be looking at appearance and comfort. But before we get into that, we know how people love trivia and love Duesenberg.
Yeah.
Who started the Duesenberg company?
Please put it down in the comments if you know, and don't listen to me answering now.
Okay. What is it?
I'm giving people a second here to mute the sound. There we go. That would have been Fred and August Duesenberg.
Oh, you are correct.
Ding, ding, ding,
Who would
ding,
have
ding.
ever guessed it? You are correct. You are very correct. All right, let's get on with our video. So we are going to be starting, our first category is looking at appearance and comfort. So what device are we going to start with?
Let's start with the Eyedaptic EYE5.
Okay.
Okay, so excuse me while I grab this device here.
That sounded...
That was a lot less smooth than I was hoping for. So the Eyedaptic EYE5, Corey.
Yes.
I will hand you this device so you can
okay.
get a feel for it. So the EYE5 is based around a pair of existing smart glasses.
Okay.
And there is a cable going from them to a smartphone. The smartphone powers the device and also has the software on which allows you to do the image processing, and all of the controls are operated from the phone's touchscreen. Now, the headset itself, the bit that you wear, Corey.
Yes.
What do you think about that?
I actually like it. It's pretty, I mean, obviously, whenever we talk appearance, people are always wanting things that are light and resemble a pair of glasses as close as possible. These are quite light. They are thicker than what a normal glasses would be. But I would say, I mean, until we can compare the other ones, I find the appearance to be good.
Yeah, so these are definitely some of the best in terms of just physical appearance. And weight, very nice.
Yeah.
They do have a shaded, what's the word for this here?
Shaded filter that you can flip up almost.
Thank you.
Yeah, so then...
so you can use them like sunglasses, but if you go inside and you don't want the dark lenses, you can flip them up and out of the way. The main thing is, though, they are almost like a pair of regular sunglasses, as Corey said, a little bit thicker, but they are very close to being like a pair of ordinary sunglasses. Now, you do have the cable off going to the smartphone, and you can put the smartphone in the pocket and everything.
Not bad with the cable coming off. It's not pulling at all. Not a lot of weight on the bridge of the nose.
Thing, very lightweight.
There is a little bit of weight, but they have good nose pads here. It does feel like the support is decent. Same with coming over the ears. Like, I'm not feeling that there's tons of weight. I don't have a strap or anything in the back. I can look straight down, and I don't feel like the glasses are gonna fall off of my face and hit the ground. So I would say from a weight and comfort, also quite good.
Yeah, definitely. The only downside, the only negative point for these ones, Corey, is that they only come with the one nose pad. And it is adjustable, but there's only a certain degree of adjustment. And for some people, depending on the shape of their nose, they just will not sit in the right place.
Sure.
And so there's definitely a section of the population who are not going to get on with these because the lenses won't be where they need to be, or the screens won't be where they need to be in front of the eye.
That makes sense.
That's the only thing. But other than that, lightweight, looks like a pair of sunglasses. I think you could wear these all day, no problem, and be comfortable. So, good stuff so far.
Yep, all right.
Congratulations.
Let's take a look at the next device here, Corey. The most easily reachable is the ESight Go.
Okay. Now, if I'm not mistaken, is this the newest of the three?
This, yes, this is the,
Okay.
well, is it because the Maggie also came
Yeah,
out
that's
fairly recently?
it is the latest ESight.
It's the latest ESight. Let's roll with that. So let me hand you this one. Now, this is just the headset, Corey.
Okay.
I'm going to slide over the battery pack part as well.
So feeling these right off the bat, they definitely, I can feel that they are heavier than the ESight. I'm sorry, heavier than the Eyedaptic 5, no question. The, I always say, what do you call this side?
Well, they should be called the sides.
Okay, then we'll call them the sides, the earpiece of the sides. Definitely much thicker and more rigid than the Eyedaptic 5. The actual front part too is, so this does have a head strap, which is not going to fit my big, humongous noggin. Unless I loosen that. Well, I gotta loosen it up first. Okay, so let's put these on here. So also a cable coming off the left side. This one I will say though, the cable's a little farther up the side piece. And so it doesn't really go behind your ear. Comes more off to the side a little bit, which I find to be a little annoying, to be honest. I don't think that's a make or break, but just something I've realized. Definitely heavier to be wearing on the face. I can feel the weight a little bit more. Not absurd, not like, oh, I can't use this at all, but noticeably a little bit more heavy. And the frames, the glass piece in the front too, also feel to be a little thicker and have a little more substance than the i5.
Now there is a good reason for that. This one, everything is built into the headset, and the reason that wire exists from the side is actually just to connect to the battery pack, which I'll pass to you.
Gotcha.
Which is horseshoe shaped and fits around the neck. So that is literally just a battery pack. With the i5, it's connecting to a phone that's doing all of the actual work. But with this device, all the work is being done by the headset.
Sure.
Hence why it is that little bit thicker, that little bit heavier. Now that does potentially make it less comfortable. However, I have found that with the strap at the back of the head, once you've tightened that down, it actually really helps to distribute the weights pretty comfortably on your face. And the ESight do also come with 3 different size nose pads, and so you can swap out the nose pads depending on what type of nose you have. So that's definitely a plus in terms of the comfort side of things.
Sure.
These ones again do look like sunglasses, so they are going for that sunglasses style, but they are noticeably less sunglasses-like compared to the i5. So looking at these, you would instantly say, okay, these look like sunglasses, but they're obviously not. They're quite a bit thicker.
There's some kind of smart glasses or something, somebody would think.
And I think you would think the same with the i5 too, but it's a little less obvious. The i5 do look a little bit more like regular sunglasses.
Yeah.
So.
And we'll get into this and ease of use and things like that, but there is an upside to not having a attached phone to the device. It truly does sort of become hands-free in the fact that you're not having to manage another device that it's connected to. But we'll stick around for ease of use and we'll talk more about that.
All right, so let's take a look at the final device here. And this would be the Maggie iVR. And now this one, Corey, a little bit different. I'm going to pass it over to you, and you can check out this one. But the design is a little bit conceptually different.
Yeah. So from what I can tell right off the bat, rather than the first 2 that were more kind of sunglasses, you definitely got your you could see around them, above and side. You got more of your environment. These are a straight virtual reality goggle. I almost think that I would say these are a goggle more than a glass. This is going to block out everything around you. I'm not even going to attempt to put them on because my head's so big. Maybe I can try to get them on. But this is going to block out all light and everything around you versus the first 2 that we looked at. Let's see if I might not even be able to get it on. Oh, I can't get it. I can't get it up. So
maybe I'll put it on.
Yeah, I want you to put it on.
Here we go. So let's take a look.
I think I need to adjust the side ones a little more, but that's okay.
Oh yeah, it's even tight for me here,
Yeah.
but here we go. So this is what this one looks like when it's on. Now, this one obviously is very different in terms of its design. It's not trying to look like a pair of sunglasses. It's really actually just, looking like a pair of VR goggles. And there are pluses and minuses to the way that this is designed that we will discuss, further on as we get into, how well these devices work. But this one, we've got a phone in the front here. We have the VR goggles that are fitting against the face. It definitely looks quite bulky. It's quite heavy because the iPhone which it uses is quite heavy as well. And so this is quite a heavy device too, which is something worth bearing in mind. Now, there is actually a newer phone piece and a different head strap on the latest version of the Maggie iVR, and unfortunately we don't have that here, so we can't comment too much on how well that helps to distribute the weight, but with this original version it's definitely quite front heavy just because of the weight of the iPhone, so that's something worth bearing.
And I assume that it probably makes a difference because they clearly said that they use feedback from this 15 Pro model and redesign the top head strap, put in that thicker foam for comfort and for weight distribution. So again, we can't say 100%, but it seems like you wouldn't make all that effort for it not to make a difference.
No, so I assume it's probably more comfortable than it was initially. I will say appearance-wise, definitely is quote unquote the ugliest because it just looks, it's just the largest and the bulkiest and everything. But in terms of these styles of devices, if you're gonna go for a VR device, the actual design of this one is actually really nice. So as far as these types of devices go, I will say that this is a really nice example of this type of device. So I think that's it for those. Anything else to say, Corey?
No, I don't think so. I think all three have pluses and minuses around the appearance.
I know.
And we will keep moving on. And our next category is
ease of use.
Hopefully.
Okay, so it's time to talk about the ease of use of it.
Ease of use.
The ease of use of these three devices. We'll do it in the same order, Corey, why not? And that means that we're starting with the Eyedaptic EYE5.
And when we talk ease of use, we're specifically going to be looking at the button layout. How do you control the device? Where are the buttons? What are the buttons? And then maybe just a little bit about menu structure. Is it intuitive? Is it kind of confusing? And then anything else that maybe causes troubles or a benefit when talking ease of use.
All right. So first thing to bear in mind with the Eyedaptic EYE5 is that you cannot charge the device and use the device at the same time unless you get an additional cable. The reason for this is that the headset plugs into the USB-C port of the phone. Remember, the phone is providing the battery power, the image processing, and is the controller for the device. And so the phone has to be connected to the headset in order for it to work. And because it's connected into the USB-C port, that means you can't charge the device at the same time because you need that USB-C port for charging also. However, if you get a splitter cable, then you would be able to do that. But I don't believe that Eyedaptic includes that. So one thing to bear in mind. Another thing to bear in mind is we cannot turn on the phone while the headset is connected because then it just doesn't work properly. You have to turn on the phone, wait for all of the software to start up, then connect the headset, and then it will work properly. So not a big deal, but it's just something that you have to remember, you know. So in terms of actual operation of the device, all of the operation is done through the phone's touchscreen, and there are various things that we can press. Now, the menus are large print, high contrast. You know, they have been obviously thought out. We have a slider at the bottom, which is used for changing magnification level. That also includes haptics, and so every 0.5 times magnification, you will feel haptic feedback to let you know you have increased or decreased by 0.5 times magnification. So that's nice. There are dedicated buttons there for turning on the bright text feature, for accessing the brightness controls for the brightness of the headset screens, and changing the contrast and things like that. And there are also some sliders you can use, and there's buttons for changing to black and white, high contrast modes and things like that. The menus are intuitive. If you are a smartphone user, it's super obvious, how to use it. Now, there is some settings you can get into, but you don't really need to worry about those for the most part. The major downside, though, I would say, Corey, is that in order to use this device, you have to be able to see the phone screen enough to be able to manipulate the controls.
Sure.
And so if you've got the headset on, you could obviously look at the phone screen through the headset, or you could look underneath the headset. And I have found that some people struggle with that. Particularly the magnification slider is obviously going to be your main control.
You use that most often, yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of tricky just to get your thumb or finger in the right place and to slide it along accurately. I've had a number of clients who have struggled with that. And so how easy this device is to operate is really going to be a factor of how much vision you've got and how well you can see that phone screen. So that's that one. Next was the ESight.
ESight Go.
Okay, ESight Go. This one controls pretty intuitive. We have a power button. And that will turn it on, and also you can put it to sleep and wake it back up again. Now this is a physical control located on the top left side of the headset. And we also have some buttons located on the top right side of the headset as well. And those are all tactile. Only slight thing with them is they all kind of feel the same.
Sure.
So you have to kind of, maybe you have to count. Okay, I need the second button back from the front. So you find the first button, count back to the second button.
So you can find the buttons, they all feel the same, you just kind of...
Exactly, so you have to remember which one does what. In terms of the operation, now Corey, you said that maybe you're not a big fan of the menu structure. The way that it works is there is one button that switches you between the modes, and then there are two buttons behind there which adjust the mode. Now, so for example, if you're in the zoom mode, those two buttons would zoom in and out. But if you change to the color filter mode, those two buttons are going to change the color filter.
Yeah.
And so those two buttons always change whatever mode you're in, but it sounded like maybe you weren't a big fan of that.
Well, I think sometimes, to me, it's great to have dedicated buttons to your most used features, magnification, color contrast, maybe. But when you have physical buttons on the device itself, you're obviously limited on how many buttons you can have, right? With the with the i5, you've got the added benefit of having a touchscreen, so you've got all that real estate. You can have dedicated buttons to do things. They're touch screen buttons. But with the ESight Go, with all of it being physically on the device, which I actually think is a benefit, I think having those tactile buttons is great. It then causes this little bit of an issue. So it is sort of a give and go? No.
Give and take?
Give and take, thank you.
Yeah.
So that's my opinion.
Yeah, fair enough. Now, one of the good things about the ESight is it does also have a remote control, and so you don't have to use those buttons up on the headset. The remote control provides all of the functionality via buttons, and these ones are different shapes and are a lot more tactile and easy to find, I would suggest. So using the dedicated remote for the ESight, although functionally it works very similar, so there is a button to change between the modes, there is two buttons to change within those modes, and so on and so forth. It's just nice to have that separate remote control because it's so much more tactile and easy to use. However, it does take AAA batteries.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, well, it is until they run out of power.
Okay, not an easy thing to change.
They're easy to change. It's just I always find it a little bit of a hassle. Maybe if it was rechargeable, that would be better. Not sure.
I hear you.
I guess it's always going to be a challenge.
I like that they kept some consistency between the button menu structure and the way you use it from the headset to the remote. That they're consistent. I think that's good.
Yeah, for sure. Maggie? Well, all of the buttons are on the right side of the headset. Now, conceptually, actually, Corey, it works very similar to the ESight Go in the sense that you have a mode button, and then you have two other buttons that will change things within that mode. So it's a very simple menu structure. You just press the mode button to go into the mode that you want, and then use the other two buttons to change whatever you want within that mode. So very similar to to the ESight in that way. The buttons on the side of the headset are easy to locate, and they are tactile. Now they do have embossed signs on them, so one of them has an embossed plus, one an embossed minus, and one of them has an embossed letter M for mode. But I think those embossed things are kind of hard. It's kind of hard to feel exactly what they are.
Sure.
But it doesn't really matter that much because you can press either the one at the top, the one underneath that, or the one underneath that. So again, just remembering the position, and that will allow you to remember what that button does.
So I like, again, with the Maggie, you've got a pretty easy to use button layout. It kind of makes sense. It's intuitive. The One issue with the Maggie, and you would know better about this, Lucas, with the buttons on the right-hand side, if you're a lefty, not that you can't use your right hand, but it may not feel as comfortable to do, where the ESight does have it on the right-hand side too, but that remote, you can obviously hold in your left hand. With the Maggie, you are stuck to just using that right hand to do everything.
Exactly, and conceptually that always seems like an issue. Now, how much of an issue it is in real life, I don't know, but it does seem like a bit of a problem that you have to reach up to the right side of a device to control it. One other thing about the Maggie actually is if you are using it with your personal iPhone, which you can do, then you do need to be able to remove your iPhone and then put your iPhone in regularly. So when you need to use your phone, you've got to slide the phone out. When you need to use the device, you've got to put the phone in. It's not a big deal, to be honest. It's well designed the way that they do it. There's just a clasp at the front that we can raise, and then we can kind of pull the phone out, and then when we want to use it, we can slide it in and it locks into place. Not a big hassle, but it's just something to be aware of that you will need to do if you are using your own phone for this device.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's one of those where it seems like a good, oh, no problem, but I bet you after a while it becomes annoying to have to constantly pull it in and out. I bet most people, I would guess, find it better to just get a dedicated phone for the Maggie.
Yeah, which you can do, because you can buy the device with the phone from Maggie Vision. So
you got it.
But there we go. So they've all got their own pros and cons. As usual, which one will work best for you? Well, that's for you to decide. And talking of deciding, we need to decide, Corey, in the next section, which of these devices have got the best additional features.
We are ready to move on to our advanced features. Now, you might be saying,
Corey, you haven't even showed us the generic features.
Yep. But stick around, that will be in part 2 of this video.
Just to let people know what will be happening in part 2, we will actually be doing the testing in part 2. So this is just kind of an overview of stuff. But in part 2, we'll be looking at some tests, including which one looks best at different magnifications, which one works best in low light conditions, which one has got the best color mode. So that will be coming up in part 2. This one is more of just a discussion.
Yes, so we are looking at the advanced features. What does it have that maybe the other one doesn't have? So we will be starting with the i5, like we have in all the other categories.
Indeed, so the i5 does have a number of features, which are actually some of which are unique to it, which is kind of nice. So we'll start off with the one which isn't unique, which is the ability to adjust contrast. There is a slider that we can use to adjust the contrast of the image, and you can also set it to auto enhance as well. So a pretty standard feature, but it's nice to see it here. But next we have bright text. Now this is a unique feature, and the bright text basically makes text stand out more. Now don't ask me algorithmically how it works, but it does seem to work. It kind of gives text a bolder outline and makes it more visible. I will say where I like this feature, but I'm sighted, some of my clients who have low vision have not really liked it very much. So yeah, I guess results will vary, but at least it's there. You can try it, see if it works for you. The next feature I haven't had a lot of success with, I have to admit. It is auto zoom, and this would be for zooming in on faces or text. You have to choose which one you want, and the idea is it will automatically zoom in if it sees a face or if it sees text, so that you don't have to do it with the remote control.
Sure.
I just haven't found it to work super consistently, but it could be me, I'm not sure.
Okay.
But it's an interesting idea, because otherwise you do have to kind of use the phone to change the magnification, and if it automatically zooms, then it's essentially hands-free, right? So it's a cool idea, but I just haven't seen it to work that great. The next feature, however, again, a unique feature. I'm thinking the i5 has got a lot of unique features, and this one is very cool. It's the ability to switch in between the headset camera and the phone camera, so essentially the controller camera. And the resolution of the phone camera is actually a fair bit higher than the headset camera, so you get a really nice quality image. So you're looking through the phone camera, but you're seeing it in the headset.
Yeah, in some cases could be better for reading text or some fine details, that you really want to get in and see. Obviously you lose the hands-free aspect, but still something that the other ones don't offer.
Yeah, I think it's a really neat feature. It does take a bit of getting used to because you kind of like, if you move your head, it doesn't change where you're looking because you're looking through the
good
phone
call.
camera.
Sure.
So it's kind of like rubbing your tummy and tapping your head. It takes a bit of practice, you know.
Sure.
But yeah, really cool feature. If you get the i6 Corey, which is the model up from this, same hardware, but you also get AI assistance as well.
Oh yeah.
And so, you know.
Ivy.
Ivy, yeah. So you can talk to Ivy and get Ivy to do stuff for you, like take a picture through the headset camera and describe what Ivy is seeing. Not necessarily groundbreaking because you can do that with a bunch of stuff these days, but you know, I guess it's cool to have it available. Yeah. And one final feature.
One last feature.
One final feature, yes. So that would be the portal. Very good, Corey.
Thank you.
So the portal is essentially like the Iris Vision's bubble mode. It kind of gives you a circular area in which things are magnified, and outside of that, things are the regular size. I haven't found myself using it too much, to be quite honest.
I assume you can adjust the size of the portal.
From what I've seen, no.
No, okay.
I don't think so. I could be wrong. And to get to it, you have to go through the settings, so it's not a feature that's immediately available
it's
on
not
the
something
main
they've
menu.
bubbled up to the top, really. Then.
Gotcha. Very clever. So yeah, I don't know how essential they think the feature is, and I haven't found a ton of use for it. But anyway, i5, it's got a lot of unique features.
It does.
Pretty
a lot
cool.
of advanced features, one would say.
One would say a lot of advanced features, but whether they are all useful, well, that's going to depend on the individual.
Yeah.
As with anything. All right, so now we will talk about the ESight Go's features. Now, ESight traditionally has had a number of additional features, but this one's a little less feature-rich, at least at the moment.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind it's only just released. Actually, funnily enough, Corey, if you go to the website and try to look at the details of the ESight Go, it says, like, basically...
They haven't been finalized.
Yeah, they haven't been finalized yet, which is kind of funny because it has actually released. But anyway, so some features that we have with the ESight Go, and I'll start with the one that I like the best. This is a tilt feature, and it allows you to basically tilt the camera downward. This is a digital tilt. It's not actually moving the camera position, but you can tilt the camera downward, and the idea is if you're reading, you don't have to crank your neck down to look at the reading materials. You can tilt the camera down, and I do think like neck strain is a potential issue with any of these devices, and I think the ESight with the tilt has got a nice way to get around that. So cool feature. That's probably the best of the additional features. The other ones that we have, again, contrast. So we can change the contrast, just like we could with the i5 as well. We also have talking menus. So as you're navigating through the menus, you will hear those menus being spoken aloud to you, which is nice. And actually another good feature, probably as good as the tilt, is the ability to have your prescription built in. Now, you cannot do this with the i5. So if you wear a glasses prescription, oftentimes you will find it does help with the wearables.
Sure.
It will make them clearer. You cannot get your prescription built into the i5, and the i5 is not designed for you to wear your glasses underneath. With the ESight Go, you can get your prescription built right in, and that way you are going to get the clearest image that you could get, you know.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so nice feature for sure. Okay, on to the Maggie, and the Maggie's got a number of exciting features, Corey. Number one, it uses an iPhone. It's the only wearable to use an iPhone. And the iPhone slots in the front, as we already said. You can use it as your own phone, but you can also slot it in there and use it. And because it's an iPhone, it does have a good camera optics, so that is one of their selling points. Very nice. We also have adjustable pupillary distance.
Or PD if you're in the business.
Or PD. Surely it'd be pupillary distance if you're in the business, and PD otherwise.
No, doctors have no time to say that whole long word. There is a PD.
Okay, there you go. So adjustable PD, and also adjustable focus for each eye using some...
Or F, as we like to call it in the business.
Using some dials on the headset. The Maggie also has changeable, I'm going to say, contrast, exposure, and screen brightness. So we have lots of ways to adjust the image.
Exposure is different from, I mean, most of the other devices all have contrast brightness. That's pretty common. Yeah. But exposure, I don't think I've seen a wearable that allows you to change the exposure.
I'm going to try and say what these are.
Okay, go for it.
Contrast is the difference between the blacks and the whites in the image. The brightness is the brightness of the screens of the headset.
Yes.
And then the exposure is the amount of light which is being allowed in.
Yeah.
That's what I think they are. So just for anybody watching who's wondering.
I believe you're right.
Okay, good stuff. The Maggie also has a TV streaming box option. And so this is something which you can purchase. Now, unfortunately, we haven't been able to try the TV streaming box, but we did see it at the CSUN conference.
Yeah.
And you can check out a card that Jonathan will hopefully put up if you want to see us at the CSUN conference. We live streamed from there. But yes, the TV streaming box was different to any of the other ones that I've seen. So for example, the Iris Vision and the Vision Buddy are using the same type of streaming box, which is quite a large streaming box with aerials on it. The one that Maggie had was way smaller. It was almost credit card sized, maybe a little bigger than that, but they're obviously doing their own thing with that. So that could be really cool. If you like to watch TV with your headset, it will stream the image right into the headset.
And when we say TV, it doesn't have to exactly be TV. Basically, it's an HDMI streaming. So any HDMI source, if that is a TV, if that's a Fire Stick or even your computer, you can run through that box.
Indeed you can. I think that was all the unique features, Corey. Did we
I
miss
believe,
anything?
nope, I think you've got it down pat.
All right, perfect. So those are all of the additional features of all of the devices. And again, you can decide if any of those are applicable to you, which one might have the best features for your needs. And when we release the next video, which should be 2 weeks after this one releases, then we will be going through some of those standard features and comparing them against each other in actual tests. But for now, Corey, I think it's time to talk about the dreaded thing, the price.
Yeah. Price is obviously important and will help you make your decision when picking a wearable. So we want to give you a price. Now remember, this is at time of shooting video, which is March 21st, 2025.
You sound very excitable, Corey.
All right, here we go. Ready? I'm going to hit you with some, and you need to tell me the prices.
Okay,
First, we're going to start with the Eyedaptic EYE5. Go, price.
i5, we are looking at $39.95. That's $3,995 MSRP.
Yes. And what about the i6?
That would be $4,500 MSRP. And remember, the i6 is exactly the same model as we were showing today, but it has the virtual assistant, the AI assistant built in called, Corey?
Ivy.
Correct. And you can actually see with the card that Jonathan's going to put up here, a live show that we did with Michaela where she demonstrated Ivy.
I wasn't there, unfortunately. So if you were wanting to see that video to see me, unfortunately, I will not be there, but please still watch it.
Indeed, and we will put the link down in the treasure chest down below as well.
Nice.
All right, next device, Corey.
ESight Go, please give me the price.
Well, it's come down considerably from the original ESight, which was 10 grand.
Weren't they at 15 when they first came out?
15,
yeah, I think they were at 15,000 when they first came out. Anyways.
Yeah, the ESight Go is very much cheaper than the original ESight, coming in at $4,950.
Ooh, wonderful. And the last is the Maggie iVR.
Indeed, and that one is going to set you back either $2,500 if you just get the headset and use your own phone with it, or if you get the iPhone, I assume it's the iPhone 16 Pro now.
They are at the, she did say that they are now doing the 16 Pro.
Yep, and that's going to set you back $3,500 with the phone included. That seems like the better deal to me, Corey. I've got
$1,000 for the for the iPhone 16 Pro is actually a good deal.
Yeah, and yeah, that seems to be the current prices as of today. That could change at any time though, so who knows? But that's what it is at the moment. Now, do we think any of these are great value for money and affordable for everybody?
No, but that's true for every assistive technology device. I mean, they are expensive and there's no way around that, but
yeah. And Corey, I just want to interject here. We do often get comments from people saying, oh, this device has been made for people who are rich. You know, I guess I won't be getting one of these. I'd just like to point out, we don't set the prices. we do not make any of these devices. We're just talking about the devices. And yes, we are aware that they are expensive and that sucks. Unfortunately, you know, that's the way it is and there's nothing we can do about it.
And that's why we're making these set of videos though. Yeah. We want to make sure that if you're going to be investing that amount of money, that you have as much resources as you can so that you can make a more educated decision.
Yeah, exactly.
This, as we mentioned, this is going to be a two-part video. This is the end of part one, but hold on, don't turn it off just yet, because we have some exciting things to talk about.
We do?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
But part 2 will be coming out 2 weeks after you see this video.
Only if you're watching this on the day of release.
Well, when else
if you
would
watch
you
it
watch
after
it?
the day of release.
Well, yes, everyone watches it on the day of release.
Sure.
They're actually lining up as we speak. They don't even know we're filming it, but yet they're sitting and waiting for it to release.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. So, all right, 2 weeks from, well, or it could be available right now. Just go check out our feed. But part 2, as Luke mentioned, will be getting more hands-on, seeing the actual device in use and seeing how they perform.
I will say though, unfortunately, you cannot record directly from these devices, and so we will be trying them out in real time and giving our impressions of how well they work and comparing them against each other. But unfortunately, you won't be able to see on the screen what we are seeing through the headsets. So
yeah.
Just to let people know that. But we will be giving our honest opinions about how we think they perform. And if you're not familiar with wearables, then it would be weird that you watched this whole video, but kudos to you if you did, and please let us know in the comments if you did watch this without having any idea what wearables are all about. But you will, down in the bread box there, you will find links to the videos that we have already made on these devices, individual videos, so you can get an idea of exactly what they are and what they do.
Also down in the jewelry box, why don't you tell us what wearable you're currently using? Are you using one? If so, what are some of the tasks you like to use it for? Or maybe you are in the market and you're leaning towards one. Let us know what one you are leaning towards and why. We appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. That really helps us out, and like the video also goes a long way to helping us build this channel.
And we do have some other stuff going on as well. So we have a podcast version of our live show. Now the live show is every 2 weeks at 11 a.m. Central. You can catch it on our YouTube channel. And we have a podcast version of that as well, which is just the audio, and that is available through your favorite podcasting service. We also have a professional webinar series that can be accessed through our learning management
I
system.
think that's baloney. There is no way you and I can be professional.
Well, it's semi-professional.
That's true. You can go over to techconnect.vision-forward.org and you can access those webinars, and there is free ACVREP on-demand credit.
Wow.
You heard me, free ACVREP on demand. There is not too many places that are doing both free and on demand, but that is us. We are them, we are it. So come join us.
It is us.
It is us.
They be us.
Me.
And with that being said, I think it's time to wrap this up before people fall asleep.
Yes.
So make sure to check out the part 2 of this video, and maybe it's already out depending on when you're watching this. But otherwise, if it's not, then you can watch some of our other videos in the meantime and enjoy them. So have a great time before we see you next. Any final words, Corey?
Yes.
Yes.
Word.
See you later, bye.